scrappy people, Tracy Reed here today, and today I'm creating my first layout with the Cocoa Daisy Little Bee Cottage collection, and this is a photo of my youngest and I sitting on top of a waterfall on a hike we did a few years back. He's so little. And today I had the idea of creating a full page frame from this paper in the background that has these like ferns and strawberries and all of that. I wanted to sort of make them a full page frame, but sort of sketch around or cut around each and every one of these little bits and pieces on the corners to just sort of frame out my layout. So I'm going to take my pencil and I'm just going to sketch loosely around the outside edges of all of these mushrooms and butterflies, and then I used another 12 by 12 paper to create straight edges on the corners where there were no designs, so that it would be just straight up frame on that side. Look at those gray hairs, goodness gracious. Just straight up frame on that side or on those corners. And I'm going super fast, just loosely cutting. And I start with my X-Acto knife because I always see cool people use X-Acto knives to do this. But forget that. Once I get to these curvy parts, I just don't think that an X-Acto knife is like the most effective use of my time. So we're going in with the little tiny scissors. All right, I've got everything all cut out now, and I'm erasing any stray pencil marks. Then I have to decide what paper I want in the background of this page. Well, first I gotta cut off the branding strip. So I initially choose a paper, and you'll see here in a second, I initially choose a paper and then I change my mind. So I'm going to go through all of the papers in this collection, and they are beautiful, of course. The red was just a little bit too red. I don't need a giant mushroom in the middle of the mushrooms. I really like this yellow, so we're going to put it aside. I thought that I didn't like the green with the flowers at the bottom because I thought that they sort of conflicted with the design of the page. So gone through and picked out ones that I thought could work, so we're going to go through again. I really do like this green in the background, but I decided that it was too much green, especially since the photo is very green too. So I decided I'm going to go with this yellow, and then I abruptly changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the branding strip here, and then start adhering this down. And actually the yellow looks very beautiful and would have been a good choice, but as soon as I turn it over and see what's on the other side, I decided to go with that instead. I also decided that I want to antique up the edges of this frame a little bit, so I'm just going to go ahead and ink blend with brown Catherine Pooler ink around all of the edges. I'm not really too concerned if it goes over the design or if it like fills up the whole entire frame. I just want it to be a little bit more brown around the edges, and I'm just having fun. I really want to commit to playing in my scrapbooking this year, and I think I've been doing a good job of just letting myself play and really enjoy the process rather than scrapbooking to get pages done, and I think it's really showed in my work this year. So I am just playing here too. I actually really love the way that distressed things. I'm not normally like an antiquing kind of distressing kind of person, but I think it really lends itself well to this collection specifically. So I am adding adhesive just around the outside edges. I'm not adding it to the design part so that I can lift those pieces up and stick things underneath it still. So I start sticking it down to the yellow, and I'm like, oh, this is going on crooked. Let me pull this off again and do it a different way. And then when I flip this page over, I'm like, maybe I do love the flowers coming off the bottom, and I really did. So I changed my mind and decided to put the flower side down, which I think was a good choice, even though the yellow would have worked really well too. And now I can start building my layout. So I'm going to tuck this photo in. I can't decide if I want it to be on this side or on this side. I decided to go with the mushrooms, and I need some photo mats, so I'm actually going to reach for the papers in the scrapbook collection, which are 6 by 8, and I'm going to use those as my photo mats instead of cutting into the 12 by 12 papers. And I'm only using the scrapbooking kit and the 12 by 12 add-on for this page. There will be no extras, even though I got lots of beautiful extras in my box. I made 2 layouts this month with just the scrapbooking kit, so you can see what you can do with just the scrapbooking kit if you just get one of these collections. And then I made 2 that also include the creative kit and the stickers and all of that too. But this one is just the scrapbooking kit. So I'm going to go ahead and tear the bottom of this photo mat just for some texture. I'm doing a lot of tearing and a lot of distressing lately this year. I feel like I'm just all about the texture this year. And I'm going to do the same with this paper once I get it trimmed down. I have 2 photo mats, red and green. Who'd have thunk you could have red and green and have it not look like Christmas? But it doesn't look like Christmas to me. I decide I want it to be a little bit wonky. I think it's a little fun that way. And then I want one more paper strip. I think I'm going to use this one for a base for my title, but I want there to be this one up here too. I don't know why. I was just having fun with some paper tearing. Okay, so I get out these tags from the scrapbook kit and I'm like, you know what? I can do better. So I'm going to take this tag and I am going to play with it as well, just like I did with the inking edges of the frame itself. So I'm going to start sticking these down first just so that they don't move around. I even added the adhesive and I'm like, nope, we're going to do better. So stick these papers down and then let's pull this to the side and play with it. And I absolutely love all of the little touches on this layout that I added. I really wanted to get creative, like I said. So we're going to take this glass board again and I'm going to ink the edges. Actually, I inked the whole tag, and I started with the manila tag just so that it would be a little bit darker. Well, actually, that's just the one I chose, but I decided to go with the manila tag so that it would be a little bit darker. I'm going to add some stamping from the stamp set from the scrapbook kit. We're going to start with brown, but I'm also going to do the green and the red. So adding some green ferns to match the background, or I guess the foreground, the frame that we created. Some brown scripty stamps. Look how pretty this is. I love it. I'm leaving the middle blank because I initially was thinking that maybe I would add journaling there or I would add the title there, but I end up adding some rub-ons instead. Look at that red mushroom. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I love watching it back. And then a bee, a couple bees, 3 bees. Oh, look at that. So cute. Okay. So we're done with the stamping. Now this can go back on the page. Look at that. Beautiful. I'm going to tie this bow so that it doesn't get stuck behind the tag. Maybe. Struggle to tie a bow. Look at how much that added to the page. So pretty. Okay, so now that I've got everything sort of placed where I want it to go, maybe, I can start adding in my embellishments. I still want to add that one torn piece of paper. Maybe I want it there. No. Ooh, this looks good. Literally the thought process that runs through my head while I scrapbook. Ooh, I like that. No. Oh, I like that. No. I just really like this torn edged vibe. There we go. Come on, just leave it there. Nope, we're not going to leave it there. I think that I moved that out of sheer laziness because I didn't want to cut it, and then I cut it anyway. Perfect. Looks great there. Leave it there, Tracy. Put this back. Okay. Finally. So I'm going to bust into the rub-ons, and I immediately pull off that lace doily rub-on, and I want to put it on the tag. And I cut it in half so I could put it on both sides, and I really love the pop of white on the tag now. That looks really cool. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a bunch more of these rub-ons all over the page. Butterflies, of course. And then also up here, there's like a torn edge looking page. I'm going to distress the outside of these papers because why not? I'm going to end up distressing all the things. And I decided to put this banner in the middle of the tag. This happened to actually be in September, which is very helpful. So it says the last days of summer. And I like this ephemera that says memorable, and I'm going to rough up the edges here too. And then I decide that I don't want to use that tag. There's too many tags going on, and I don't need more of that like manila color. But I do really love this tag, or tab, or label. Yeah, that's the word. I love this label, so we're going to go ahead and rough up the edges of that and incorporate it as well. Just kind of sticking all the ephemera down, making it look nice and collaged. This collection really lends itself well to that collage vintage vibe, so that's what I'm working with here. I really do like how the flowers in the background melded with that foreground frame. I think that worked really well. I was hesitant at first, but I think it looks really great. There we go. Now I can get that September down. Since I'm always working with Cocoa Daisy collections before the actual month that they release, I really actually get to use the months that are included in the ephemera and things. So I was very excited to be able to use September. I added Where We Were, which is called Spruce Flats Falls, and this was 2021, and my date stamp starts at 2022, so I have to kind of like work my way around that to create a 21. It kind of gets messy, but you can read it in the end. I went with 31, the 1 on 31, to get that 21, which I think is so funny. Can't believe this date stamp goes up to 2031. Whew. I can't even imagine 2031. Let's try one more time to get that 2. All right, good enough. Okay, so now I want to add in, there is some beautiful textured lace and adhesive. This is like kind of a shiny gold rickrack, which I thought was super fun. So I wanted to incorporate some of this texture into the page. I ended up moving it around a couple times because I'm not quite sure where to put it. I mean, obviously we are hiking and sitting on top of a waterfall in this page, so like a gold rickrack doesn't quite make sense, but it looks so pretty on the page, I don't care. So move it around a couple times and I actually trim it so that it fits here better, but then I decide to move it because I don't really love the way that it looks here. But I'm going to think about it for a minute. Rough up the edges of all of these leaves and then stick them down because I'm not going to put anything underneath here. I think I'm done tucking in my photos and everything. And of course we're going to rough up the edges just a little bit. I decided that there was too much green sticking out of the top here, it like wasn't offset enough, so of course I'm ripping apart my whole thing and rearranging, probably for like no reason at all. There's probably not that much of a difference when I'm done with it, but who cares? You know, being fussy is what I do and I can't help it. It's like no difference, I'm sure. Move everything, Tracy. I don't know why that red mat needs to move down, Tracy. All right, there we go. Look, I don't even think that looks different at all. I'm such a goob, but that's okay. I felt better about it when I was done, even if it didn't look any different at all. Maybe I decided that there was not enough green at the top. Maybe that's what I was doing. All right, now that we're sticking everything down, getting close to the end of the page, we're still gonna have to move around that rickrack because I don't love it. Let's pull it back up. I'm gonna put it up here instead, which I think looks a little bit better, especially since I created all that extra green. Come on. It doesn't want to stick anymore. All right, take the other one too, which would have been perfectly the right length if I hadn't cut it, but you can't tell that I pieced it back together, so that's good. Then I also want to incorporate that lace, which makes no sense either, but I love it, so we're going to do it anyway. And I'm just going to create or put a little piece right here over this red mat. You can still see the red sticking through it, but I think the reason I wanted it there was because it really matched that doily and I thought it looked cool. So I'm just going to use some liquid glue to stick it down, tuck it underneath that mushroom. Cute. All right, we are just about done here. Let's stick down the rest of these, stick down the rest of these pieces that are not stuck. I didn't add any journaling to this page, which is weird for me lately, but I think the page kind of speaks for itself, and I'm pretty sure that I have scrapbooked these photos before in a way that did have journaling, so I'm just featuring this photo that I love. But I'm going to add some enamel dots and call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy Amrita. I'd love to see you over there as well. Adding in a couple of rub-ons, and I will see you next time. Thank you.